Hello and welcome to Stringman Guitars. We're in the underground lair, and this is my favorite guitar to work on. Forget about your Stratocasters and your Telecasters and your Squires and your yada yada yada. This here is a guitar which has got a really great contour to it for us fat guy players. Nice thin neck. Went and changed out the stock tuners with some Grover Auto-lockers. This guitar is my first named guitar. It is named after a friend of mine who passed after a long struggle with heroin, and so I felt it right to name him as he passed while I was putting this together. Let me flip it over the other side. Hold on just a second. It's a Yamaha Pacifica 112V. It's got a 12-inch radius. The frets are perfect on it. I've had so many Squires and Mexican Strats that have just been awful. The other great thing about these is they don't hold their value very well. So if you want something that you can go ahead and tear apart and build the way you want, this is the perfect toy to do it with. When I first acquired it, I got rid of the stock humbucker and singles, and I put in a Dimarzio Mojo and put in two Texas Special single coils. They don't really go well together. These are a little too twangy, bluesy for what I play. They really don't have a lot of punch to them, and this is a little bit too medley for me. Also changed the pots and put a real 5-way switch in there, not one of the cheap plastic overseas things, and also put in a Mexican big block bridge. And it's set up to play perfectly, except for we're going to put in an Area 67 Virtual Vintage 54 and a Tonezone in place of what's in it. So let's go to it. Okay, welcome back to the underground lair. We're working on the project Yamaha Pacifica, no longer a 112 V, I think it was the model. Anyhow, like we said in the previous video, we had Texas Specials and a Mojo pickup. Well, the Texas Specials, which I expected to be kind of twangy, were a little too twangy for me. And the Mojo was just too heavy for anything I play. So regrouped, and we got the Virtual Vintage. For the middle, we got the Area 61 for the Area 67 for the neck, and we have a Tonezone full-size humbucker, well, F-size humbucker for the bridge. Anyhow, as you can see, the Virtual Vintage went in just fine. Everything works, like you would expect it to work. But whenever we went and got ourselves out the Area 67, it turned out that somebody had drilled out the screw holes. So my choice was to either go with a number 8 screw, which in there normally is a number 6, but if you see the head size, It's ginormous as a comparison. Well, ginormous as a comparison. So, thought, what can I do to make this work? So, after much contemplating, I said, why don't I just get a nut that fits a number 6 and take some Craggle for you Lego Movie fans. We'll take some Craggle and we will Craggle the nut onto the back of the Area 67, which will allow us to then use the normal screw and the spring and make everybody happy clappy. The other thing is, dude from unnamed music store somewhere in Maryland sent me 2 mismatched screws. They're not even the same thread count. With the springs, but they're not even the same. So I sent him a nasty letter on the eBay, and he did refund me $10, which more than pays for this conglomeration of crap that I have here. So I think I've already set one on here and it's setting up just fine. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the other one. Get the Craggle out, put a little bit of Craggle on the pickup. Not too much, just enough, so that whenever the nut sits on there, it will be permanently Craggled in place. Once again, for you Lego Movie fans, because that's what. Too bad it's not Tuesday. That'd be really cool, because it'd be like Taco Tuesday. So there we have it. We're going to let that set up, and then we're going to kind of put some glue around it to make sure it really sucks down on there. And then we're going to take our 2 number 6 screws and put it through the pickguard like we're supposed to. So, buyer beware with the eBay fleabay. Oh, another little trick I found. I might as well mention it while I'm thinking about it, because I always seem to forget things. You know how you got your nice big block fender bridge here for your wang bar, and you got your roller nut, and you got your Graphtec bridge, and you got your locking tuner, so you're thinking, hey, this should stay in tune. Well, even with guitar grease, it doesn't do it. The nut sauce, I have a hard time buying anything that says nut sauce. I don't know why. Call me a prude. But talking to a friend of mine, and he suggested to get some Gun Medic lube. It works for your roller bridge, it works for your nut, it works for your all your contact points on the bridge, your saddles. It just allows everything to flow freely. So while it's all apart, I'm going to take the saddle off, and I've actually, another friend of mine mentioned, when you have a 6-string, it's not even in a movie, I'm just talking. When you have a 6-string or 6 screw vintage Fender neck, you want to back off, not all the way, but so there's a lot of gap in there, the 4 screws in the middle, and then the 2 on the outside you'd set up normally, where you'd screw it down just enough so that the end of the bridge lifts off the body, and then you back it off a half turn. That way you have full dive and full pulling up of a note. So we're going to try this stuff and see how it works. And a good friend of mine also told me, says, when I was unsoldering this stuff, getting rid of the mojo and putting in the Tonezone and getting rid of all the other stuff that's in there, he said, if it smells like chicken, you are touching the soldering gun in the wrong place. Well, I always hold it in the right place, but when your left hand is trying to move the other wires and whatnot out of the way, you can touch that, and I smelt the chicken. So I guess I wonder if I taste like chicken. I don't even want to go there. But anyhow, we're going to see how this sets up, and hopefully we're going to get into the neck position of the pick guard. And what do you think of a vintage cream on this pick guard? I think it looks fine, but anyhow, I'd like to know what your thoughts are. I'm going to let that set up. I've got a medical procedure tomorrow, and I'll be back down here when I'm allowed to come back down here, and hopefully we have a video that we can put together. So peace and subscribe and all that good stuff. And yeah, so have yourself a good turkey day. Hello everybody. It's a balmy 60 degrees, and I got my Grover Auto-locking Tuner back from Grover. The last one was gooched, if you want to use that term. Essentially it was busting off the high E string as soon as I put it on. I'm actually going to excuse me, take a piece of, I think this is a E from a acoustic. We're going to run it in there, maybe. Maybe. Might have to go thinner. Doesn't matter. We'll go thinner if we got to go thinner. Here we go. I'm just kind of going to check to make sure that the edge doesn't have any burrs on it this time. And that was the problem. And Grover admitted to as much, saying that they had some issues with the tuner. So sent it back, they sent me a new one, and we're finally going to finish our Yamaha Pacifica. It was a 112V, about a $300 guitar. We put some much better pickups in it. We got a Area 67 from Dimarzio, a virtual vintage. These are both noiseless, and then we have a Tonezone in the bridge. So we're going to go ahead and install our replacement tuner. And hopefully we won't have any more of the problems we've been having. Because I'll tell you what, man, it's a pain in the butt. Gear number 10. I want to carry around a pocket of 10s with me everywhere I go. Let's see, where did I put that screw? I just had it out. Where did it go? Ah, there it is. I'm not sure if this is the right screw. Appears to be. So yeah, it's balmy outside, and it's going to fall into the depths of, well, today's Friday, or no, Thursday. Today's Thursday. Tomorrow it's supposed to start dropping. And by kickoff for the Steelers-Jags game, it's supposed to be in single digits. Not that I care about anything NFL. That's just a time reference for you guys. Okay, we are reinstalled. Bum, bum, bum. I got me another Ernie Ballsack 10. We're going to put the last bit of tighten down on this top nut. Get a little bit of our, get in the frame, our gun oil. We're going to put that over the contact points so that we have no string slippage or any of that kind of crap going on. Okay, that is done. Water 10, and hopefully this will wrap up our Yamaha V311 redo, because these things are such a joy to work on. Why people are enamored with Squires that they can upgrade when you can find these things used for nary a penny. By the way, if you don't know how these things work, what you do is you line up your holes so they're kind of at this angle. I'm not even in the movie. Hold on a second. Okay, we line up the tuner hole so we're at this angle here. So that way we take our string and we take it through the top part of the tuner, which I probably am going to miss because I can't see a thing. Ah, got it. Take it, you pull it tight. Start tuning it. Until the tuner itself grabs it. Put it under the tree. We'll retune the whole thing because sitting for a week without an E string on it would cause it to be out of tune. Okay, nervous it's going to break here. Seems to be holding. Everything went super flat whenever we went through our super cold snap. Which we're going to get again starting tomorrow night. All right, we're going to call this thing done. if the string doesn't break on the way upstairs. So everybody have a Rick and Morty kind of day, and we'll see you around soon. We're going to call this Gooched Tuner Repair to round out the whole video that we did on this Yamaha. Just as an overview, let me adjust the camera angle here. For what we did to this thing, we bought it for $100, maybe $90. I can't remember now. Off of a music school that had been renting it out to a student who stopped playing. I think they advertised it for $100. I offered them $90. They took it. I think that was the deal. Nonetheless, doesn't matter. So I said, okay, we got this thing. I plugged it in, and it has Anaco 5 pickups in it, and that's why they were selling originally for $300. And it just sounded noisy and just not very good, for lack of a better term. So I said, well, for $100, if I could sink 150 into it and get a guitar that plays better than any Fender out there, with the exception of maybe the new Elite Professional Super Duper series, or whatever is going to come out at NAMM for $2,000. We cleaned up the fretboard. We replaced it with Dimarzio's, put a high mass Fender 6-screw synchronous tremolo in there that is dive only. We put in Grover Auto-locking Tuners, which I think, other than the E string shearing off, are probably the best tuners I've ever owned. So, you know, the jury's still out on whether that E is going to take a dump on me the first time I play it, but I will take my carving with me so that I have a second guitar for that sort of situation. But anyhow, it's done. I've got the tuners, replaced the stupid string tree, strap locks, Dimarzio's, new pots, new 5-way switch, the real one, not the cheap plasticky one that it came with, Switchcraft jack. So it's a new guitar. Other than the body and neck, it's all new. Also took down the fret edges that were like a cheese grater, but that's common in imports. Also replaced the pickguard with a nice paraloid style. This just a beautiful guitar. And look, we even have room for the logo. Ta-da! So this guitar, that's named James, is going to go on to be probably my #1. So I love the color, I love the sound. Hats off to Terry Hartley in Albury, Texas, who turned me on to the Dimarzio noiseless pickups. Guy is nuts. He's got, I don't know, 6 Pacificas. I just sent him another one that wasn't available in the US. There's a video on that. That just shipped yesterday. He should be getting it today. So with all that said and done, thank you. Please subscribe, like us on Facebook, and you all try to have a good rest of your winter. Next week, I think we have a Telecaster that needs a fret level and crown. So until then, peace be with you, and may your God go with you.